Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Raphael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
5, 4,
Nikki, how are you on this beautiful Wednesday? I don't know why people call it a hump day, but that's what How are you?
I am excellent on this beautiful Wednesday morning. How are you?
Exceptional, getting better every day.
Oh, I love that. Getting better every day.
A little bit, just a little bit. I don't have to get a lot better. Just a tiny little bit than I was better yesterday. That's all I need.
That's right.
Today we were supposed to have two amazing transforming worlds come together. The conscious gardening meets the personal growth. I'm not much of a farmer or person who keeps things green. And actually, he's coming on the stage now. He must definitely be an A. Let's bring Matthieu on. Matthieu, how are you?
Good, great to see you again. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Matthieu. Great to meet you.
Hey, Nikki, great to meet you.
We know why you came a little bit, like a couple of seconds late, because you're in action. So you come last minute, boom. You're going to show up. This is how we play, right? We'll see if the other comes on. Otherwise, we're going to just talk a lot about. I was just telling Nikki, I know nothing about gardening. I don't even what. He must be a AAA. Here he comes on the stage. And when his camera sets up, I'll add him to the stage. I think his camera's still not on. So Austin is also an A, which means action, people. So Austin, as soon as I can see your amazing face, I will add you to the stage. All I see is a background right now. So today we want to talk about gardening, but it's not just gardening, right? Matthieu, would you mind sharing with us a little bit more about why gardening is so critical to you?
Yeah, thank you, Sifu. Thank you again for being with you today. I'll tell you why gardening is so important for me personally. It has everything to do with the fact that it's about being connected with nature. Gardening is like one of the most profound ways that you can be in direct contact with nature day in, day out, because it's your surrounding of your house. There's not every day that you have the opportunity to go out into nature, but if you surround yourself with a beautiful garden and you do it in a way that it's good for the plants, whereby the plants vibrate on a high frequency, it has a lot of healing effects, and it can drastically improve your life. So that's why, in my opinion, it's super important.
Absolutely. Austin, thank you for joining us. I know you were slightly late, and we say that that's because you're in action. And actions, they're never late. They're just when they show up, that's when the party starts, right?
That's right.
Austin, can you hear us? Do I need to do sign language? How are you? No sign language, but hi, Austin. All right, Austin, if you can't hear us, go back into the settings and try there. Otherwise, so I love what you were talking about, Matthew, that it's a lot of us have plants in our house. Some of us kill them. Sorry.
Mhm.
That's okay.
But look, I see Nikki right there. You have a plant coming out the
Well,
side of you.
these are fake because
Oh,
I
there you
have
go.
killed
It
real
looks
plants.
so amazing. But the beauty that Matthew's talking about is that not only do the plants in your home, but the ones around your home help with the environment, with the breath of fresh air that we get to enjoy. So tell us a little bit about that. And I want to just let everybody know that you're not just a guy who likes gardens or green things. You're actually a landscape architect, but it also comes from the way you grew up, which I love your story. So share with us a little bit. And Austin, whenever you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up or something, and then we know that you're with us, buddy. Go for it, Matthew.
Yeah, Sifu. So like you said, I grew up on a farm, a family farm. My brother and father are farmers. And when I was super young, I was so fascinated about pretty much the whole world around the plant kingdom. Like how crazy it is that on our planet, if you find a tiny little seed and you put it in the soil, it can become a plant or even a huge tree. There's trees that are over 500 years old. They all came from a tiny little seed. Can you imagine how crazy that is? And I realized that at the age of 3, and I was just mind blown by it. So I told my parents on the farm, like, I want to start gardening. I want to grow my own food. And that's what I did from about the age of 5. And yeah, it actually gave me a huge opportunity to also understand how nature works, because from an early age I had some successes, but I also had a ton of failures, and throughout my life I experimented a lot. And from all of that knowledge I came to start to see that there were some universal laws in how nature works. And this is, by the way, also the title of my upcoming award-winning book, 12 Universal Laws of Nature, how to get the most potential out of your land. So I've synthesized pretty much my whole life into that book, and it helps people to become way more efficient at gardening, at farming, at land development, like even for real estate developers that I'm now working with. It's a huge opportunity to integrate nature and see nature as an asset rather than something that we have to maintain and we have to take care of. It actually becomes really cool when you see the huge value of nature, how it impacts people, the food that we can produce. So yeah, that's in a nutshell where I'm looking at. And then obviously I'm a landscape architect. That's the core of my business. So I design all these environments and I help people to realize them. I'm also a gardening coach. So I'm teaching people how they can actually do it themselves, because I saw a huge demand in people that said like, oh, I don't really want you to design my garden. I want to experience it myself, to design it, to learn about nature. Uh, so it actually came from an existing client. So I said, I'll teach you everything that I know. I synthesized it also in a masterclass, and now people are loving it. It's getting huge results. Like some people joined the program just to know for themselves how to design and how to garden. And now and I never expected this, now they have their own clients. Now they're doing it for friends and family because they're like, whoa, this is something really cool. And I think it's actually the future of job availabilities. Like we're in an AI revolution, automation. A lot of jobs are disappearing. Like, and it's gonna come in. It's already coming in, and in a storm. So this opens up a whole new world of having people to work in and with nature, so we can actually also solve pretty much most of the global problems that we're facing, from climate change to social injustice to all these things can actually be resolved by investing in nature. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things was it yesterday or today? I saw that there's a supermarket. I don't recall where. On the roof of the supermarket, they put they actually grow 31,000 pounds of vegetables, and it's huge. It's as big as the whole supermarket. You know, some supermarkets are humongous, and so is this one. And they were growing and they were selling it themselves. So they did not have to go look elsewhere, and it was fresh. I mean, if you want to buy stuff from that supermarket, you know you're getting it from probably they just mixed it, right? So consider the fact that there are a lot of people like me and Nikki who has fake plants. But they're beautiful, Nikki. I love it. It looks so real to me. There is something to be said of having a green thumb. And I love the fact that you said that you have a master class, you taught people. And I think that that's a huge, huge service that you're providing. And when you get a chance also, Matthieu, I would love for you to go ahead in the private chat, put your link in so people can know how to find you, how to go to your master class. For me, I've had so many different clients throughout my life. I had a client, I'm going to say about 16 years ago. The guy lived in a regular house, but his backyard was a farm. Every inch, even his front yard, everything he grew. He grew Japanese maples. I don't even know what he called. He grew 200 of them. And then he gave me one. It was this little tiny little thing. And when I had my house, I had my gardener plant. I said, I got to honor my friend. And this thing grew big. And it was by my pool. It was beautiful. It made, like within 2 years, it was pretty. It was like 4 feet high. I was like, whoa, this is incredible. But he also used to bring in corn. In Long Island, it's hard to grow corn. He brought corn. He used to bring sweet peas and all these different things and different types of tomatoes. I'm like, how many different types of tomatoes are out there? And the guy he used to go hiking and he would see like a bunch of people saying, oh, what's this? And then he would stop and go, that's this, that's this, that's that. And then he would start walking. They're like, no, come back, teach us. So I can see you being like him, where you have all this knowledge so embedded in you that you need to give it out. And I say that's sharing your gifts with the world.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. And I love the things that you said about, like, there's somewhat a misconception. Maybe people say like, I don't have a green thumb. You know, that's something that people say far too often because they might have tried something, they failed. And it's just mostly because they don't have the right knowledge, right? So, but at the same time, I do believe, and this is something I love saying, is that I do believe that there's a gardener hiding in each and every person,
I love that.
and every soul of us. Because I have to tell you, the pure joy you get to see on your face when somebody grows their first radish, their first tomato, it is just unbelievable. It's like the most beautiful thing that you can ever see. And also, if people don't have that time, I encourage them to go see a farm and see what the farmers are doing. They also get a lot of amazement, because in the end of the day, we all came from nature. We are intrinsically part of nature. We did got disconnected from industrial revolution, from living in cities, and I think this is also like a kind of metaphor of being kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That I think it's about time that we return to the Garden of Eden, and that every person reconnects with nature, because there's so much benefits. It's just outrageous. I just found some research that in America people are paying on average, so this is average, around 200,000 on their medical bills in a lifetime. That's a small house, you know, that they're paying for cancer treatment. And this is the average. So imagine there's probably people in the millions that are paying for that. Whereas if you invest in your health and doing that by gardening, growing your own food, making sure you have like a lot of fresh produce, will actually save you a ton of money in your healthcare bills.
So I'm trying to change the backgrounds. I got to look for a green one.
I noticed that.
Okay, I'm gonna get a green one. Hang on, here we go. Okay.
I love your perspective, Matthieu, on this. When you said start seeing nature as an asset, that's the first time I ever heard that before, and it really resonated. And what you said earlier about people say that they don't have a green thumb. That's something that I say. So we just kind of cap ourselves and just, well, I don't have a green thumb. I might have killed maybe 2 plants in my life, and I tell the story that, oh, I'm a plant killer. I can't keep them alive. I'll just have fake plants in the house.
Yeah, that's true. You can't imagine how many plants I killed throughout my life. So it's a normal thing, and there's nothing wrong with it because they get decomposed. It's part also of the cycle of life.
Nikki, I think you have the fear of stopping by a farm and there's a wanted sign with your name on it. Wanted for killing 2 plants.
For killing 2 plants in my life. Yeah. I will say that the biggest reason that I don't have real plants, especially in the house, is because of the little gnats or bugs that they bring. And I don't like that. So I'm like, with the fake plants, I get
That's
to
why you
avoid
need a spider.
a spider.
They eat the bugs.
Oh, they eat. That's true. That's true.
So Matthieu, I love the fact that you said that there's a farmer in all of us. So Nikki, there's one inside of you. I can see the straw coming out your mouth, the hat. But I also love the fact that you said that we have to go back to the Garden of Eden. We just have to warn everybody, don't eat apple. Don't eat the. I'm just kidding. But when you consider, so I think that Matthieu, we're going to promote that everybody go to your gardening masterclass, and I think you have to gift Nikki and I a free pass on that one, because we're going to go to it, and then we're going to tell everybody about how amazing it was and it is, but we may just have to have plants behind us later on, real ones.
Real ones, yes.
There is a way, Matthieu, that you can probably share with us even now. How do we avoid what Nikki just talked about, that she doesn't want the little bugs? I have a plant that one of my instructors brought in. I'm talking about literally, 2005. She brought it in and she gave it to me. The thing is gorgeous. It's still alive. I tried killing it. It's like, no, I'm standing my ground, if you get what I mean, right? I'm standing my ground. I only replanted it one time, but it's just flourishing, right? And every time I got to make sure it's getting sun and proper water and all that stuff. But that's the only plant that I've ever been able to keep, right? I am sure that if I put an effort into it, because I've grown a plant from, like you said, seeds. I've grown a plant from an avocado seed. We know, we put the toothpicks, we sit it in water, it starts to sprout, right? So all these different little tricks that we can learn from you, it's going to be amazing. So tell us that tip that we can share, that how do we stop the bugs from, is there a way, a natural way without the harmful chemicals?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And I'll actually get some knowledge from my book that is not even out yet, that we have to go a couple steps back. Think like, okay, why do the insects attack the plant? Well, because, and the reason why, and this is actually related to the law of vibration. Everything around us vibrates at a certain frequency. We as well. And so insects will attack plants that are on a lower frequency. Now, why do they vibrate on a lower frequency? It's because they are not in full health. They're not in optimal health. Maybe they're even sick. So same as when we are sick, we go down in frequency. So we want plants that are happy, vibrate on a high frequency. And the way to do that is even going a step more back. It's like, okay, how would the plants become more healthy? Okay, what are they doing under the ground? There's where the roots are, the nutrition is there. Okay, and how does it work? It's the soil. The soil, in fact, the soil on our planet is the basis, is the medium for all of our lives. It's what makes it possible for us to live. Obviously, it's also the combination of nutrients, water, and air in the soil as well. So what we want to create is an optimal, healthy soil. Because even if we go one step back, what does a healthy soil look like? A healthy soil is full of microorganisms. And now it gets really crazy and so astonishing. The day that I realized this is that our soils are pretty much the same as our own stomach. Even in our own body, we have a lot of microorganisms in our system that are helping us to be healthy. In fact, our gut health and our brain health are directly linked to the amount and the quantity and quality of microorganisms. And that's also why we have actually so many modern diseases such as cancer, diabetes. They're finding all the research that it's linked to our gut health, because we're eating food that has a lot of chemicals and it kills the microorganisms in our stomach. So you would think like this is kind of a metaphor of what's happening into the soil, because also in the soil we're using lots of chemicals. Obviously in industrial farming it's common, but even in gardening, like most of the contractors, gardening maintenance companies, they spray a ton of things that are making the plants healthy on a short term, which is something like the antibiotics that we take. But on the long term, it makes them weaker. So just to go back to the question, how can we avoid the insects to attack your plants, is make healthier soils. So first of all, big thing, never use chemicals in your soil. And by chemicals, I mean the synthetical things that are not natural, because this is disturbing the whole symbiosis. Because even to get into more depth, the microorganisms give the plants nutrients. Like they change the nutrients in the soil a little bit, and then they make it available for the plants. And the plants give sugar to the microorganisms. And it's the same in our stomach. That's how this symbiosis works. So what I would suggest is just find ways to improve the soil. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. It's definitely one is getting or making your own high quality compost. So finding compost that is of a rich, high quality. And the best way to do that, if you're like, I don't want to bother doing it myself because there's quite a technical side of it. I do teach that as well. But if you don't want to bother about doing it, go and find an organic or regenerative farmer in your neighborhood. And very likely they will have some real good quality compost. And there's also other derivatives that we can use from compost, such as compost tea. These are things you can spray on the plant, on the soil, and you'll literally see that your plant becomes super beautiful, vibrant, and no insects will want to attack it. So that's the same with indoor plants as well.
Wow.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
So
So start with the
Isn't
soil.
it amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love how you compared the soil to our stomach. So when you talked about creating your own compost, if you will, right, or your fertilizer, right? My sister had me, because I like to build things, she had me lay out a whole thing for her. And in the corner, she asked me to put all these cinder blocks and with dirt. So what are you doing? She goes, I'm going to make fertilizer. I'm like, what? What do you? So every time she would throw banana peels, pieces of tomato, anything back from that you eat back in there, right? And then after a while, she'd mix it, and she had beautiful plants throughout her house. And then one of the days, she says to me, hey, do me a favor. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. She usually used to go a month, but she goes, I normally have somebody that stays at my house, but they can't this time. So I'm going for 2 weeks. Can you do me a favor? I'm like, sure. She goes, can you just go to my house and this is how she waters her plants. She takes a bottle of water, flips it upside down, puts it in the plant so that it slowly drips into it. And I was like, she goes, just make sure that there's enough water in them. If there's not, just take them out, fill the water, put it back in. But she didn't do it from the tap. She would have canisters of water that she did from the tap, but she let them settle for 30 days before she would invite them into her garden, if you will. So she never watered from the tap until it cured for 30 days. So all the junk would settle, and then she would take from the top and only.
Oh yeah, all the chemicals, all the gases as well, like chlorine, all this stuff, it evaporates.
So that's why she had like two green thumbs.
There's a lot
Yeah,
to learn. There's a lot of knowledge and information to gain about plants. There's some plants that they don't require a lot of water, and you think you're doing a good thing by watering it every day, and then they drown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to know how to do it, and that's why you need guidance to do it. But there's something other amazing that happened now with I mentioned it before, the AI revolution. I actually leveraged that in my program to now make it way more efficient and way more affordable for people to learn how to do garden. Because AI is a very powerful tool, but you have to know how to use it. And it's the same with if you want to use it as a gardener, there's a certain system that you have to follow. So I leveraged that, and that actually made the program that I designed. If I would have wanted to do it, let's say 3 years ago, or less than 3 years ago, it would have probably cost like 10 times the price, and it would have taken like a whole year to learn. But now with that system, I could make it way more affordable and reduce the time drastically, so people have way faster results and successes. Yeah.
Incredible. So are you talking because of AI, it's made it easier for people to get the information?
Yes and no. Yeah, yes, in the sense that if you direct it in the right direction, because AI, you have to see it as if it's a master brain. It has all of the information. It also has all of the wrong information.
Correct.
So you need to listen to somebody who knows and has the evidence of being successful at gardening, so you can direct AI into, okay, look into that realm. Because if you would just say like your plant is sick, and you would say like, oh, this plant is dying, what should I do? AI will also suggest all the chemical solutions that are out there and that are heavily being promoted by chemical companies, because it's just on the web. So that's not what we want, because it's only short-term solutions, and it will make your plants even more sick on the long term. So that's a kind of yes and no answer to that.
Wow, that is interesting. I didn't think about that AI is pulling all kinds of information, correct and incorrect. And this is why we need the human touch to discern what is right and what is maybe not useful or helpful.
Yeah, totally.
What's one type of soil that we can buy? So, for example, what if you live in a city that there's really no where you can garden? Everything's, let's call it the concrete jungle, right? You have to actually, if you want fresh tomatoes that you grow, you actually have to do it in your own home. The right lighting, the right temperatures, there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm sure that your masterclass and your continuous training and coaching, that you're going to help people understand, no matter where they are in the world, based on their environment, based on the soil in their environment. Different things have to be done at different times, right? Fertilizing, watering, all these different things, even lighting is critical. There is such I'm going to call it a science, but I think it goes beyond science, it goes a little deeper than that. It goes into love, right? You need to love this, right? You can't go in there with your lab coat and say, oh, I'm going to plant, it doesn't, it probably is not going to feel right, right? The plant may even know, oh, you're just treating me like any other experiment, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. They've actually done research on, and this is something that I tell you. And if I would have told this myself probably like 5 years ago, I'd be thinking you're crazy. But now it's scientifically proven that if you give words of love and affirmation and and you talk nicely to your plants, they will grow way better. Even so that if you talk shit to a plant, you put bad words on it, you talk badly to it, it will die. It will literally, like, they've done the tests with same soil conditions, everything, same air, everything is the same, just like going to it and giving the bad energy and giving the good energy. So that's again with the law of frequency, it has a direct impact.
We're about to wrap it up, but you made me think of a thought. What does the type of music affect a plant? Like heavy metal music, rock and roll, jazz, love music, joyful music, Beethoven. Will that impact it as well? Because we as humans are impacted by the sounds we hear, right? If you're just bashing your head, you're listening to heavy metal music, and do you want to go and listen to a nice classical piano afterwards? Probably not. Or if you're listening to a nice classical piano and then all this crazy, thrashing type of music comes on, what's your brain doing? How do you feel? How does the emotions that come from music are different, and they make us all feel different. So imagine that you are like a plant. You can't move. Your arms are tied down to the chair, and this music is blasted. And that's what they used to do for torture.
Really?
Are we torturing our plants?
Yeah, that's a great one. And it's again related to the law of frequency, because they also now have found evidence that the birds that live in the forests, that they also impact the trees. In fact, that it gives signals to the tree, like it means that the environment is good, and it helps trees to grow, like happy birds that are singing. So again, that's kind of mind blowing, right? That it does affect the way the plants grow. So definitely Beethoven, who I think got a lot of inspiration from natural sounds, does improve the health of the plants. And even so, I just the other day, I found out also that it has a huge impact on our mood, the sound of birds and everything. And that's also, well, it's not the direct reason why I would suggest people to create environments in your garden that invite lots of birds. It's just kind of like a beautiful side effect, if we think about it now. But they also found evidence that it makes us feel very relaxed, because back in the days when we were really like fully living in nature, if there were birds singing in the background, it would mean that it's a safe environment. There's no predators, no animals coming, and we would just be like relaxing in the forest. Whereas if, let's say that a lion would come out of the bush, the birds would stop chirping, and we would know, like, oh shit, something's coming. So that's the actual reason why we also love bird songs so much. It's in our nature, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's interesting.
Definitely. We have to be present, right, Nikki? So we have to
Absolutely.
be alert. And I love that you talked about the birds kind of tell us if we can be safe, the environment we're in. So from now on, anytime I go to the forest, I'm going to listen for the birds first.
Because that'll mean we're safe. It's I was thinking while you were talking, Matthieu, a while ago, it was the middle of the night, it's like maybe 2 a.m. So it's still dark out. And there were these birds outside my window chirping. And I thought, what are they doing? It's not the morning time yet. So like what you said, we fit the birds. Oh, it means it's a nice day or it's daylight, so it's embedded in us.
Nikki, you didn't realize, but the birds were serenading.
They were serenading me. I didn't think of that. I was just annoyed that they woke me up.
They were singing love songs to you, my dear. You got to think of the positive, right? Got to think of the positive. It's like, think about it for 1 second, and I know that we have to go, but at first you said, man, they woke me up and I was annoyed. But think of it a slightly bit different, like, wow, I get to hear them. I'm alive.
Yes.
Thank you for these beautiful, even though they woke me up, it's a beautiful, and they weren't like, quack, quack, right? They were more like singing, because thank God scarecrows don't come in the middle of the night. But
Sifu, were you there as well, maybe?
I was not. I would have rang the doorbell if I was. I was like, Nikki, wake up. There's birds.
Or it was you singing the serenade.
That's it.
Maybe
Matt, I got to tell you, you are a wealth of knowledge. I am beyond happy that you were able to join us. I am kind of sad that our friend Aaron was not able to come in, but hopefully he will reach out to me and we'll get him on another show. I think, Nikki, you may be in agreement with me on this one, but I think we need Matthieu back on. We just touched on the surface of the ground.
We did. And next time, I'd love to hear more about the other universal laws. I know you spoke about the law of frequency and vibration, but that fascinates me. And even the metaphor of, and you have it in your website, about, it's like the soil of our mind, how we plant our own seeds with the thoughts that we have. And if happy things said to plants can impact and affect a plant, garden of your dreams, there it is.
GardenofYourDreams.com, people.
Yeah, said to plants can hurt the plant. Imagine with ourselves, that positive self-talk and then negative self-talk, how it's impacting us. So I'd love to have continue the conversation a little bit more with mindset.
And then we have to get into poisonous plants. Be careful, because there's poison ivy, which some people recognize, but there's also poison oak, right? There's all different kinds of plants. And why does a rose that's so beautiful have thorns? Questions to be answered next time. Stay tuned, people. Same bat channel. We're coming back with Matthieu at another day. Matthieu, please, when you get a chance, come back, my friend. Come back. We'd love to have you for sure.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you for your great questions. We went quite deep in a very short time.
That's how we do it. This. Why do you think we call this the Seer Show? It's the seeker. We're seeking knowledge. We're seeking your knowledge. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, Matthieu.
Hey, Sipi and Nika, I want to actually do one more thing for your audience today. Yes. Actually, I want to open up my calendar, because I have a feeling that there's some people that are fast action takers as well, the AAs or the AAAs, like you say. So I'll put in the link here to my calendar, and they can book a free 30-minute training to see what the main struggles are in their garden and how it can best be resolved. So I'll throw it in here.
I love that.
Yep. And I'm going to grab it and I'm going to put it in two places. I'm going to put it in the comments first. Anybody you can always come back to the show and take a look at it. It's in the comments. And then I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody to take a quick look this way. Here it is. Calendly, Gardens of Your Dreams, 30 minutes. And it's going to be hard for you to copy it on the screen. That's why I put it in the comments. Oh, now we got 4 comments. Let's see. Oh, those are my comments. I just threw it there. But this way, you guys can go click on it and then, get that 30-minute call with Matthieu. Matthieu, thank you again, my friend. Exceptional stuff. And we're back in 2 weeks, right, Nikki?
Yes, 2 weeks. Same time, same place.
Same time, same bat time, right?
Yes.
You never know. Have a bat expert one day. You never know. We're always looking. If anybody's ever interested, either DM me or DM Nikki. If you want to come on the show, if you have valuable information, if you're a coach or if you're an expert in your field, let us know. We'd love to have you. Matthieu, don't go away. Just hang on for a second. Everybody else, have yourself an exceptional rest of your day. Make it a great one. Go grow something.